Round one of the New Zealand V8 Utes was held at Pukekohe Park Raceway, and all the usual suspects were ready to battle for a 4-round series. Peter Ward came with a new attitude and a fast ute, and while Glenn Collinson won the round, all the talk was about Alex Whitley. She became the first female winner ever in New Zealand V8 Utes history. Shell Helix Motor Oils are proud to present the New Zealand V8 Utes Series. Welcome to Cromwell, the fruit basket of the South Island, and more importantly, home to the Highlands Motorsport Park. And it's home for round two of the New Zealand V8 Utes. Made good on their promise. They'd said they'd come back to the South Island, and they have.
We're pleased to be here. Fantastic facility, it's great, and we've really appreciated the opportunity to be down here. And as we've said, we probably do every alternate year in the South Island. So here we are, ready to roll. Pukekohe was a great round for us. It was real good, close, hard racing, and everyone enjoyed it. It was excellent. So we've got the parity really close now. We've done a lot of work on that over the years, and with our final adjustments for suspension for this season, it's really made a big difference, and everyone's having to work hard for a position. It's really close, and it's anyone's race, really. It's just a matter who can put the best laps in and keep it all together.
So round one of the 4-round championship series was taken out by Glenn Collinson, who will win here at Cromwell. From there we go to the New Zealand Grand Prix meeting at Manfield, and then the final will be at Hampton Downs in the North Waikato. The all-important qualifying session had 4 battling for the top spot, but in the end, it was the Prima Grove Falcon of Matt Spratt coming out on top with a 154.531.
It's a lot of work. It's a busy track, and only coming down yesterday, and getting some time in yesterday, and the car's adapted well, and I've adapted well, and it took a while for the tyre, I'm finding it better on a scrub tyre, so it just took a while for the green tyre to come in, and there was more time there. I pitted, and we just wanted to save the tyre because we've got 3 big races over the weekend, so now it's good, and it's close at the top, which is what we want, and looking forward to it.
So Matt Spratt is on pole position with Peter Ward. Row number 2, it's Paul Manuel and Glenn Collinson. Row number 3, Brett Rudd and Andrew Porter. Row number 4, Jeff SOS Spencer and Simon the Bandit Usher. And in row number 5, it's Dave Lowe and Alexandra Skippy Whitley. So a terrible qualifying performance for Alexandra Whitley. She, of course, made history at the first round for being the first female winner. You're on board here with Peter Chaos Ward, one of the old originals, as they wind down this long front straight. This will be a top gear run for the Utes. A good start, too, for Matt the Stinger Spratt. And going with him is Ward, Paul Manuel right in there as well. Glenn Collinson, remember, round 1 winner at Pukekohe, slots into 4th place, and it's Andrew Porter by the look of it. Just line astern as they head out into the Southern Loop for the first time, into the big forest, away from the spectators here at Highlands. So it is Matt Spratt out in the front, Peter Ward in 2nd place, then Paul Manuel. You're on board here with Glenn Collinson, just getting a little bit closer to Manuel as they work their way through the bus stop. Things tighten up a little bit here around this 4.1 kilometre circuit, Highlands Motorsport Park. This is the longest track in New Zealand. It's also the newest track in New Zealand. Everyone talks about it in glowing terms when they come here, and you can see why. It's got a little bit of everything. Collinson getting a little bit racy onto the back of Paul Manuel. That's the battle for 3rd and 4th at the moment. Meantime, Matt Spratt has just cleared away in the Prima Grove Falcon. Well, he qualified quickest with that 154.531, but Peter Ward was close to him. Ward sits in 2nd place at the moment. Andrew Porter wants to get a bit racy with Collinson as they head back down into the forest using all the track and then a little wee bit more. You're on board here with Glenn the Coyote Collinson, starting to make the move on Paul Auto Manuel, trying to get round the outside, as it turns out, the inside of him. Now we go back through the field. This is Simon the Bandit Usher in the United Fragile Freight Ford. Up ahead of him, it is Alexandra Whitley. She's got a fair bit of work to do in the LDV ute. Meantime, this battle on your screen is for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, and it is the 17 of Glenn Collinson towing around Paul Manuel at the moment. Oh, and it might have just been a bit of a touch as they turn the right-hander straight over the bridge. So this is a battle for 3rd and 4th and 5th on your screen, because Andrew the Highman Porter is coming into this as well. 17 Collinson leads Manuel, leads Porter. Out in front, of course, it's Matt Spratt, and in 2nd place it's the veteran, and that is Peter Chaos Ward in the Ward Demolition Holden. So the gap's starting to open up as they work through the bus stop, heading down into the Southern Loop once again. This part of the circuit based on European tracks. Tony Quinn said when he created this track that he wanted to have a little bit of everything. It's a true driver's test, as you can see here. Last of the late breakers, Paul Manuel just closing up to the boot lid of Collinson, and going with him is Porter. Porter, the multiple super truck racing champion of New Zealand. Just a little bit of a touch there from Manuel just to let him know he's there. You're on board here with Glenn Coyote Collinson, third place. Up ahead of him, it's Peter Ward. Slightly different line around the sweeper as they work back towards the crowd here again at Cromwell. This man currently sitting in third place, Manuel in fourth. Then we go back to Porter, and then in behind Porter it would be Jeff SOS Spencer, another one of the originals. The New Zealand V8 Utes came here in 2014, but the guys on your screen haven't been here before in a Ute, and that is Collinson, Porter now up into fourth place, and then Manuel. The oldies have been, though, Peter Ward and Jeff Spencer. And to the category managers' promise, the Utes came back to the South Island, and the crowd loved that here at Cromwell. Hot, sunny conditions for the first race of 3 for the weekend. Porter getting very racy as they come over the bridge and down towards the front straight once again. Amazing distractions right around the circuit. Wonderful picturesque views of central Otago and the odd bit of, nearly extinct wildlife, and that's sort of one of the quirks, if you like, of this amazing track. Here is the race leader going past the big spectator embankment there. This is Matt the Stinger Spratt in the Primo Grove Falcon. And he just about straight lined the bus stop that way. He's got the line working perfectly as they go down into the Southern Loop. You're on board with him here. Here he is working at the office. Just gentle input on the steering wheel as he does the left-right before going around this sweeping 180-degree turn. Under the bridge this time, and then he turns again to the left, and then they'll come back and over the bridge. This is the man in second place. This is Peter Chaos Ward. Spent a lot of time in the South Island at the aftermath of the Christchurch earthquake. Loves coming down to this part of the world, does Chaos. As I said, one of the originals. Changed his driving style a little bit this season, driving with his head a little bit more than his heart. We saw that at round 1 at Pukekohe, and we see it again here at Cromwell, and it's paying dividends because he's currently in second place. This is the ding-dong battle going on for third, though. It's a Ford on 2 Holdens. Porter looking racy, trying to get round the outside, or maybe that was the just, I'm right here, look, trying to force Coyote Collinson into a mistake. Can't do it. Paul Manuel using all the track and then a little bit more to stay close. So third, fourth and fifth on your screen. Paul Isaacs talked about parity. There's a graphic example of it. A Ford being hounded by Holdens, and no passing at the moment. Over the bridge they come once again. Another little bit of a tap on the back of the tailgate of Glenn the Coyote Collinson's Ford. And while these three are battling, I think they're getting just a little bit closer to Peter Ward just up ahead of them. So we'll have keep an eye on that for you. This battle at the moment, though, fairly enthralling. Paul Manuel just dropping back a little bit. Maybe he's got some overheating issues, doesn't want to be right up under the tailgate of the two in front of him. Down towards the front straight they come once again. The Ford, the DNA Paints Ford, the prettiest Ute out there. That is Glenn Coyote Collinson. Down the inside comes Porter, and he's got the run, and Manuel trying to get there as well. Collinson sees it coming and shuts the door. They both straight line the bus stop as they head to the Southern Loop once again, but Porter has got through, and he planned that, I think, probably half a lap beforehand. He's just worked away at Collinson, and now he's got the spot. So this man, the multiple truck champion in the super trucks in New Zealand, Andrew the Higher Man Porter, up into third place now. Collinson immediately just drops back a little bit into the clutches of Paul Manuel. Manuel has a look one way, decides against it. Under the bridge this time they go. Remember, out in front, Peter Chaos Ward in second place. Further in front again, it is Matt the Stinger Spratt. Well, he seems to repel one challenge and then he gets stuck into another one, and that's what's happened here to Glenn Collinson, because Paul Manuel all over the back of him in the Super Freight Part Master Holden, trying to look down the outside, doesn't make it work there. He'll use all the curb again here to straighten the Holden up to get a little bit closer to Collinson. Meantime, Porter just starting to sail away from these two. We see it so often in motorsport, don't we? When there's a bit of a dice going on, means the guy in front just edges away, and that's what's happened here. So this battle now, fourth and fifth on your screen. Over the bridge they come once again. A little bit of air under the wheels of both Collinson and Manuel. So these guys are on it. This is real racing. This is round 2 of 4 for the New Zealand V8 Utes. We started off in Pukekohe. Glenn Collinson won the round. He'd love to replicate that here in Cromwell. To do that, though, he's got to get past Andrew Porter, and Porter just starting to streak away. You're on board here with the leader. This is Matt the Stinger Spratt, the Primo Grove Falcon. Another one of the Ute campaigners that have done a little bit of driving overseas, both Peter Chaos Ward and Matt the Stinger Spratt, regular competitors for a couple of seasons in Australia, before Australia went to the Super Ute concept, of course. You can hear that small block Ford just singing, and he continues to pull away. This has been a masterclass by the Stinger. Came into the New Zealand V8 Utes with no real history in motorsport, but took to it like the proverbial duck to water. Stoneman Racetrack looking after the internals and what goes on after the races, and Matt the Stinger Spratt doing the job behind the wheel. And what a job he's doing, because he is continuing to pull away here. He's embarrassing the rest of the field. That's the advantage he's got at the moment. Peter Chaos Ward in second. Last time we looked, it was Porter in third from Collinson and Manuel. And in behind them, it would have been Alexandra Whitley, recovering from a terrible start. Started at the back of the field. Brett Rudd not having a happy time of it here either at Cromwell in race number 1. Another one of the, well, he can be considered a bit of a veteran these days, can't he, Ruddy? He's threatened to retire twice, but he's come back every time. Something about the New Zealand V8 Utes keeps drawing him back, and we're glad to have him. And we're glad to have this guy as well. A little bit of air that time over the Highlands Bridge here for the FG Falcon of Matt the Stinger Spratt. This is your first time watching the coverage. You'll realise that all the drivers have got nicknames. Some of them, the origins are fairly obvious. Others, a little oblique. The Stinger Spratt, you can work that one out for yourself. Down the front straight he comes once again. Nothing but clear track in front of him, and virtually nothing but clear track behind him as well. Checkered flag comes out, and Matt the Stinger Spratt makes it look easy. Takes the win. In second place it will be Peter Chaos Ward. We're on board here with Glenn Collinson. He's currently back in fourth place. Fastest lap, well, no surprise, Matt the Stinger Spratt with a 1:56. So Spratt takes the win, and as I said, makes it look easy. Peter Ward across the line in second place, and it was Andrew Porter, Glenn Collinson, Paul Manuel, Alexandra Skippy Whitley, then Jeff Spencer, Brett Rudd, Simon the Bandit Usher, and Dave Lowe.
Blew them out of the park, eh? No, it was good. Good even start with Wardy, teammate, you know, just played fair there and had the inside run to the first corner and got a racing room. It was good, and then just head down for sort of 3 or 4 laps, head down and got a gap, and yeah, just mellowed it out towards the end, look after the tyres. Big race, 2 races tomorrow. So yeah, that car's great.
Yeah, I had to give it away at the start there, because I figured if I didn't, one of us was going to do a curb and one of us was going to do a rim. So, and we've already done a couple in qualifying and practice. So yeah, it was a good race. I needed to redeem myself from last weekend, didn't I? I mean, I've copped so much grief for that you wouldn't believe.
Just sitting back to see what was happening, and Glenn was holding Paul up a little bit, and Paul went out wide to try and get the crossover on him, and I snuck up the inside of him down at the hairpin. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that race. It's awesome.
Well, a quick look at the highlights here, and just to reference what Peter Ward was saying, he had the second race won at Pukekohe, but he missed a gear coming over the top of the mountain, and that's what he's catching grief about. More Utes coming up right after the break. Welcome back to Highlands Motorsport Park. It is round 2 of the New Zealand V8 Utes Championships. Let's catch up with the man that won race 1 here in the Deep South, Matt Spratt.
Haven't come from motorsport, you know, I've always watched it, and it's been a big hobby of mine, and teaming up with Jake, he's been the best thing to get started into this career, and we did a lot in Aussie and stuff, and we've got a good bond, and we understand each other, and we work well together, and this is what it's all about, you know, having people like him, you know, keeps the energy there and wants me to turn up week in, week out. Tell people that you're racing a V8 that's really, really competitive in price. Good bunch of people, we all get along, and it's a very, very good category for that, and you get a good whole lot of racing, and you learn a lot, you know. It's a proper race car, and it's really, really, really exciting.
So this is how they'll start for the second race. It'll be Simon Usher on pole position. Alongside him, Brett Rudd. In the second row, it's Jeff Spencer and Alexander Whitley. In row number 3, it's Paul Manuel and Glenn Collinson. Row number 4, Andrew Porter and Peter Ward. And in row number 5, Matt Stinger-Spratt and Dave Shaggy Lowe. So a lot of work to do this time for the man that won race 1, and that is Matt the Stinger-Spratt. We're on board here with Peter Chaos Ward, second in race number 1. So he's got a little bit of traffic to get through as well, as they run down this long front straight. Right onto the back of Paul Manuel goes Peter Chaos Ward. Out in the front, though, it is the 99, and that is the Luscam Pellet Racing Supplies Holden of Brett the Scud Rudd. Second place still looks to be the Bandit Usher in the Fragile Freight Ford. But the one from the back are the one we're looking for, because they're the fastest men on the racetrack at the moment. There is number 17, and that is Glenn Collinson in the DNA Paints Falcon. Just up ahead of him, it is Jeff SOS Spencer. Peter Ward stuck in a Holden sandwich of Paul Manuel and also Andrew Porter. And already Porter looking racy again, just trying to climb all over the back of the Ward Demolition Holden. Can't quite get it done yet. Matt Spratt's already picked up a couple of spots. He's gone past Dave Shaggy Lowe and also Alexander Whitley. So Alexander Whitley is really struggling. Oh, really struggling then, though, was the man in the Fragile Freight Ute, and that was the Bandit Usher. He had all 4 wheels locked up, and it was as sideways as you like. You're on board here with Matt Stinger-Spratt, winner of race number 1. Up ahead of him, it is Glenn the Coyote Collinson. So these guys resuming their battle. It's gone on for a few seasons now. Simon Usher will be recovering, I would think, still in recovery mode after that wild ride he had a couple of corners previous. Brett the Scud Rudd continues to lead it. Usher through in second. Paul Manuel's done pretty good to come from the third row and be up into third place now, so he's got a great drive through the traffic. So too Peter Ward. So these guys are going to resume the battle. Oh, just a slight mistake there from Manuel. He had to have a mid-turn correction. Now he looks to the inside to drive down on the Ford of Usher. Gets it done, so Manuel moves up into second. This is Paul Manuel, past New Zealand V8 touring car champion of New Zealand. Been around the motor racing scene for a long, long time now. Absolutely loves travelling to the events, just loves the fact that he gets to burn a little bit of fossil fuel and a little bit of rubber as they head down into the Southern Loop once again here at the Highlands Motorsport Park. The United Falcon just holding up the 69 of Peter Chaos Ward for the moment. And look at this, here comes Andrew Porter down the inside, and he's going to pass both of them here. Oh, and he's right over the track limits. I get the officials will be having a look at that. You saw the ridged red and white striped curbing there. Well, Porter was well over the top of that, but he gets the pass done for the moment anyway. Here it is on board. Now watch this. These two get into a bit of an argument. There's a little bit of a biff and bash. They're concerned with their own business, and then down the inside comes the higher man, Andrew Porter. Takes full advantage of it, just uses a little bit more track than there was, but gets past both Peter Chaos Ward and Simon Usher. So, a little bit of a change. Andrew Porter now finds some clear track. Now he can... Oh, Glenn Collinson's got it wrong now. Was there a touch there, or did Collinson do that all on his own? I think he might have done it all on his own. You ride with Matt the Stinger-Spratt here, you'll get a good advantage of it. Just up ahead of him, that's Alexander Whitley. Alexander Whitley pinches a brake. Yeah, Collinson did it all on his own. I thought there might have been a little bit of contact there, but I don't think there was. As we go back into the action here, Peter Chaos Ward trying to redeem himself after being caught a little bit there by Andrew Porter. He's still trying to get around Simon Usher. Simon Usher having one of his best performances. Only been in the sport for a couple of seasons now in the Ford. Ward in the Holden, of course. Then we go back to SOS Spencer. Then it's the LDV Ute of Alexander Whitley. Dave Lowe at the back of this field for the moment. So this is quite an intriguing battle. And Peter Ward, I mentioned before that he's driving more with his head these days. He's going to have to rethink the game plan a little bit, because Simon Usher is proving to be very hard to get past. As they work their way down onto the front straight once again. 99, this is Brett the Scud Rudd. He's the race leader. 15 in second. He's come from nowhere, come from grid 3. There's Paul Auto Manuel. You're back on board here with Chaos Ward, and he's trying everything in. He left, right, up, down, sideways, you name it, and he can't get past Simon Usher. Now he's the patience is starting to wear a little bit thin. He drives to the inside. Usher does the sensible thing, shuts the door. Great racecraft from the Bandit, just up ahead in the Fragile Freight Ford. We can just sort of get a feeling that maybe the patience is starting to wear on the driver of the 69. We go back to the front of the field. And now Andrew Porter has really closed this gap up a little bit now. So there'll be three of them battling for first, second and third in a couple of laps' time. It is Brett the Scud Rudd in the Pellet Supplies Racing Holden. Then it's Paul Auto Manual in the Partmaster Super Freight Holden. And then it is the hire man, and that is Andrew Porter. Holden's 1, 2 and 3 in race number 2 here at the Highlands Motorsport Park. The Giraffe looks on with interest just to see how this one's going to turn out. And once again, these three have cleared out from the rest of the field. Just to see the progress of Matt the Stinger Spratt, because he'd be the next one on the money, I would think, trying to get through the field. Race leader comes down to complete another lap here at the Highlands Motorsport Park. Manuel getting a little bit closer. Manuel, all the experience in the world. And this is the battle for the minors. Who'll come out on top? Come back after the break and find out. Just before we rejoin the action in race number 2, one of the originals who has been to Highlands before is Jeff Spencer.
We've been in since day one. It's our 12th season, and right from day one it's been a professionally run series with some good guys and some good gear. One of the things that I think that brought us into it was the parity. You know, all the cars are tuned exactly the same, so you know, budget's not an issue there because you can't do anything to the cars. And that's one of the things that attracted us to the class. Well, bang for buck, because you've got those controls, you can't do anything to the cars. So yeah, hey, brakes, tyres are the biggest expense, but everything's, you know, even it's the nut behind the wheel where it comes down to. Oh, the driving's good, you know, it's that close, and the qualifying and race times there, that'd be one of the hardest cars to drive. Anyone can drive a car fast, but it's getting that last little bit out of it.
There's some action that happened while we're in the commercial break. This is a battle for the front running. Brett the Scud Rudd, Paul Manuel down the inside of him. Porter looking to go round as well. Scud just runs it a little bit wide. Porter comes up onto Manuel, and there's a little bit of bash and crash. They say Rubbins Racing, and there's plenty of it here at Cromwell in the New Zealand V8 Utes. And it's Porter that prevails from tenacity more than anything else. So we join the action here. This is Alexandra Whitley. She had a fantastic round 1 at Pukekohe, but they haven't really gelled here at Cromwell, and she's further down the order. Just in front of her is Simon Usher, and in behind her at the moment is the 17, and that's Glenn the Coyote Collinson in the DNA Paints Ford. Collinson having a bit of a job to get around Alexandra. Alex, of course, taking the first ever win in the New Zealand V8 Utes. That was at round 1 at Pukekohe. It was a pretty good performance all round for her that day. But as I said, she struggled a little bit. Maybe they just missed the setup. I'm not sure. But this battle's certainly for the minors at the moment. The 06, the LDV Ute of Alexander Whitley. Collinson looking to drive down the inside. Can't quite get it done. A little bit of touch and the rubbing and racing goes on here in the New Zealand V8 Utes. Once again, you see Collinson get very, very sideways. So he is trying everything he can to get around the First Lady of the New Zealand V8 Utes, and that is Alexandra Whitley, and they're drawing closer to Simon the Bandit Usher just up ahead of them. And as I said, this battle going on well down the field. Out in the front still Andrew the Hire Man Porter, but we concentrate on this little scrap. Has Collinson got a bit of a run on her this time round? No, he just can't quite get close enough. Alexandra shuts the door. Over the bridge they come. Collinson dives to the inside. Still can't make the pass stick. Great racecraft from Alexandra Whitley. She came into New Zealand Motorsport as under the mentoring wing of one Heather Spurl. This time Collinson makes it stick. Or does he? Yes, he does. He gets past and then runs just a little bit wide, but there's nothing Alexandra Whitley can do about it as they head on to the front straight once more. So job done for the man from Hamilton. The DNA Paints Ford of Glenn Coyote Collinson starts to claw his way back towards the front of the field by finally getting past Alexandra Whitley. There is Jeff SOS Spencer in the Core Steel Holden. Behind him, it's Simon the Bandit Usher, as I said, having his best performance here in the New Zealand V8 Utes, certainly this season. Then we go back to Collinson, then it's Whitley. This track is certainly a test for man and machine. The drivers absolutely love it. It's got a little bit of everything. Elevation change, tight hairpin corners, elbow corners, the bus stop chicane, and of course down into the woods in the southern loop. All you could ask for as we zoom in on the DNA paints forward of Glenn the Coyote Collinson. Peter Chaos Ward isn't at a happy time in race number 2. But it's all about points. This is a 4-round championship series, so 1, you can't afford to drop a race, and 2, you've got to finish all of them. A slippery surface flag out because the conditions vastly different from what we saw on Saturday, and maybe the prospect of rain, or maybe it is raining at the back of the circuit as the race leader heads up over the bridge once again. Cool conditions and a strong wind blowing, so that may just be affecting the aerodynamics of these nearly 2-ton utes. And the colder track temperatures will be affecting the Yokohama tyres as well as this race winds to a conclusion. Holden in 1 and 2. There is Andrew Porter out of Hamilton, and it's Auckland's Paul Manuel through in 2nd spot. And these guys have got quite the advantage. Interesting to see who's coming through in 3rd. It's still Brett the Scud Rudd, but there is Matt the Stinger Spratt. Now, Spratt was the fastest qualifier. He won race 1 going away. Now, I would think that maybe the Scud is in a bit of danger here as they head down into the southern loop once again. Meantime, at the front of the field, static positions between the Holdens of Porter and Manuel. Last lap, so they're running to the flag around this 4.1 kilometre circuit. It's taken Andrew about a season to get to grips with this Porter Group Holden, but he certainly has done that. He's always been aggressive, sometimes hasn't had luck go his way, and I think he's going to have a case to answer for here after this one as well for using the track limits, but we'll let the race control decide that. At the moment, he is staying in front of Paul Auto Manuel, the past New Zealand V8 touring car champion. Got his start in motorsport and motocross a long time ago now. Brings his crew from Eastern Automotive to work on the car. Couple of corners still to go for Porter, and he is going to register the maximum points haul here at Highlands Motorsport Park. Round 2 of 4 for the New Zealand V8 Utes. 2 ton of excitement. Amazing brakes on these utes. Fantastic tyres too. The Yokohamas really do an amazing job. It's all about parity, and it's going to be a Holden win to back up the Ford win of race number 1, and that went to Matt the Stinger Spratt. Holden's 1 and 2 as he heads on onto the front straight. He will see the checkered flag first. The multiple New Zealand Super Truck Racing champion. They call him the hire man. He is Andrew Porter to his friends and family, and he's going to take out race 2 here at Highlands. 2nd place will be Paul Auto Manuel, and in 3rd place, now, will it be Matt the Stinger Spratt, or will it be Brett the Scud? It'll be Brett the Scud Rudd just from the Stinger. The official results tell the tale, and Andrew Hireman Porter is assessed a time penalty for exceeding the track limit, so he goes back to 2nd. So Paul Auto Manuel gets the win in race 2 for the V8 Utes.
I went home pretty angry last night, but we had no power steering for the second half of the race yesterday. Not that that's an excuse, we did genuinely have a bad race. And it's the first time here, so there's a lot of learning. Wicked track, fantastic facility, and just getting quicker and quicker. So hopefully by the end of the weekend we'll probably come right. Might be a bit late by then.
We're at the old team. They've poked out an awesome car this weekend, and I knew if I could get a bit of a gap on Paul and just maintain it, would be all right. And because I could see he was struggling on a couple of the corners, but yeah, like we're just over the moon. The tyres are getting pretty sad, probably the last 3 or 4 laps, but yeah, I was kind of waiting for that last lap board to come out, I tell you, from about lap 6.
Got the jump on Simon to start with, and sort of pinned my ears back, and I was hoping he'd hold them up for a bit longer, but Paul got through, and you try not to look in the mirrors, but you have a sneaky peep, and they held him out for a couple of laps, and then made a mistake, and Andrew and Paul both got past, and I hung with them for a couple of laps, and the pace, they're just too hot, you know, so it was good racing though.
One race to come here at the Highlands Motorsport Park, race number 3 after the break.
This is our race tire, the Yokohama control tire. Actually, this tire has been used by the series since day one. It's a dot-rated tire, so something that you can actually put on a road car. But it's very good because it withstands the weights of these utes are 850 kilos in race trim. So, and these tires just will stand race distance without any problems and any damage. They get per race the use of 6 tires. They can choose to mark 2 or 4 new tires per race weekend. And they have to scrap these tires during qualifying, so they race basically from race 1. They can swap the tires around and race on scrap tires for each race.
Here's the grid for race number 3. Matt Spratt and Andrew Porter on pole. In second row, it is Auto Manual and Chaos Ward. Row number 3, it's Coyote Collinson and Scud Rudd. Row number 4, it's SOS Spencer and Skippy Whitley. And in row number 5, it's the Bandit and Shaggy. So this grid based on the points for the meeting, including penalties, and we told you about the penalty for Andrew Porter in race number 2 for exceeding the track limits. So it's the Ford-on Holden battle as they run down the long straight. Oh, and a mid-track correction there for Andrew Porter. I think he just thought he was getting a little bit close to the Stinger as they grab gears and get up into top gear, and Paul Auto Manuals got around Porter into second place. You ride here with Peter Chaos Ward just up ahead of him. It is the Hydrolink number 3, the Porter Hire Holden of Andrew Porter. So this field, line astern as they head down into the forest section for the first time. And once again, Alexandra Whitley at the back of the field. She just hasn't really gelled with Highlands here at all. Through the bus stop they go. And these guys virtually straight line this as they head out into the tree section here at Highlands Motorsport Park. So it's Matt the Stinger Spratt in the front, then it's Manual, then it would be Porter. Ward would be the next one through, then you'd go on board with Glenn Coyote Collinson. He's currently sitting in the train in 5th place. And behind him, it would be Jeff SOS Spencer. You're riding here on the FG Falcon of Glenn the Coyote Collinson, the DNA custom paints Ford. Up ahead of him, it's a whole heap of Holdens as they head down into the Southern Loop for the first time. Matt the Stinger Spratt, though, flying the blue oval flag at the front of the field. Manual in second, Porter in third. These guys have been together a couple of times already this weekend, so we'll keep an eye on them. We'll keep an eye, too, on the progress of Brett the Scud Rudd. He seems to be getting better with each outing here at Highlands. A little bit of airtime as they go up and over the bridge. There is the Scud, getting a little bit closer to Collinson. Once again, the conditions have changed again here in the central Otago region. It's got a little bit colder. Spectators reaching for jackets. The wind gets up a little bit more, certainly vastly different from the hot conditions, and more importantly, the hot track temperatures we had yesterday. You're on board here with Peter Ward. Currently sitting in 4th place and just drifting off the pace ahead of those in front of him. Paul Manuel certainly not drifting off the pace, though, having a nice long look at Matt the Stinger Spratt. Covers it beautifully, does Spratt, as they head through the bus stop once again. Had the racing line, nothing Manuel could do about it. He's tucked up under the tailgate once again as they head down into the wooded area. So essentially 2 races within one here. 3rd and 4th, the battle between the Hire Man and Chaos, and that is Andrew Porter and Peter Ward. And then another little battle group going on behind them with 17 of Glenn Collinson, Panorama Motorsport Ford. They're on board with him, and he's being monstered at the moment by the 99 of Brett the Scud Rudd. Under the bridge they go. There is the 17, and right in behind him, it is the 99 of the Scud. Married into a motorsport family, really hadn't done too much in the way of motorsport before he took on the New Zealand V8 Utes. And now, because he's been at it for such a long time, he's probably considered one of the veterans. That's the tail of the tape for Brett Rudd. Ahead of him, it's Hamilton's Glenn Collinson. Came to New Zealand V8 Utes through endurance racing. Paul Manuel, of course, probably has the most experience of the whole field, past New Zealand V8 touring car champion. Been around the traps for a long, long time. And Matt Spratt, another one that came into the sport with no motorsport background at all. But he has shone. He's had aggression. He had a little bit of a moment last season where he got just a little bit too aggressive and had to be told about it. But he has been the class act here at Cromwell because he won race number 1 and 4th in race number 2. On board here in the front in race number 3. Running with the Stoneman Race Tech team. Jake Stoneman spinning the wrenches with the boys. Paul Manuel in another team. So there's a little bit of team racing going on here as well. Peter Cowis Ward running with the Stonemans as he has been since day 1. And there is the man we talk about, trying to get a little bit closer to Andrew Porter. So Holden on Holden. Peter Ward, of course, putting his money where his mouth is as part of the sponsorship package here for the New Zealand V8 Utes, along with the Shell Helix lubricants, of course. 12 years of V8 Ute racing in New Zealand now, and the sport just going from strength to strength, according to category manager Paul Isaac. Plenty of chance, though, for you to experience a V8 Ute. To go to the website or Google New Zealand V8 Utes. You can find out exactly how you can do that. Maybe we'll see you on the grid at the next round at Manfield for the New Zealand Grand Prix, or maybe the final round at Hampton Downs. We've got to get this one done at Cromwell yet, and it's far from done as Ward gets really racy, tries to go around the outside of Porter. Porter sees it coming, covers him off. They work their way through the elbow and then back towards the spectators here at the Cromwell Highlands Motorsport Park. The brainchild of one Tony Quinn, as is Hampton Downs, of course. Hampton Downs, the version of the final round of the New Zealand V8 Utes. Over the bridge they come. This battle at the moment for 3rd and 4th. Here's the battle at the front of the field. Paul Manuel, the Super Freight Partmaster Holden, just getting a little bit closer to this man. And this is Matt the Stinger Spratt. Although having said that, Spratt looks like he's starting to pull away. He had the fastest lap in race number 2, even though he came through in 4th, and he won race number 1. So they've clearly had pace in the Falcon this weekend, and it showed in the results. Glenn Collinson got all he can handle from Brett the Scud Rudd. Behind them it will be Alexandra Whitley. Just got a glimpse of her in the back of the shot. We're on board here with Collinson. Working down into the southern loop once again. Up ahead of them, he can see the front runners. He just can't quite get close enough to make a pass. So 3 distinct battle groups at the moment out on this 4.1 kilometre circuit. Oh, you just get the feeling there that maybe Peter Ward's just running out of patience here with Andrew Porter, because they're getting a little bit close. There's been a little bit of a tap here and there as they go under the bridge now. Driving very defensively, just hugging the apex, just making that Porter Group Ute as wide as possible as Andrew Porter. Nothing Wardy can do about it for the moment. That is the battle for 3rd and 4th on your screen. Up ahead, it is Spratt from Manuel. And these two just falling back into the clutches of the 17 of Collinson. But Collinson's got all he can handle from Brett the Scud Rudd. So interesting development here in race number 3. Grid's decided by the points of the meeting. That's why the Stinger Spratt and Porter were on the front row. But Manuel jumped Porter and moved into 2nd place, and that's where he's been for this whole race. We go further down through the field. This is Jeff SOS Spencer, another one of the originals. And then behind him it is Simon the Bandit Usher in the United Fragile Freight Ford. You're on board here with the Bandit. Over the top of the bridge they come. A little bit of air for Jeff SOS Spencer. Now this race has developed, these guys are probably doing pretty close lap times right across the field, but the gaps just aren't getting any closed up. SOS, the hydration drink of choice for Jeff Spencer. Once again, very, very sideways, coming off the bridge there and back onto, coming off the loop there and back onto the front straight was Simon the Bandit Usher. Maybe those Yokohama tyres have seen enough work this weekend. Last lap board out for the Primo Grove Ford, though, of the Stinger. This is Matt Spratt. It's been a very controlled drive from him this weekend. Stoneman Race Tech team have hit on the right setup and they've just gone from strength to strength. And you can see for yourself that gap has been constant. There's nothing Paul Manuel can do about it. No, they've been chasing a few problems earlier on in the day. But it has been a dominant performance once again from the Stinger, Matt Spratt, the Stoneman Race Tech prepped Falcon. So once again, the lap's winding down here at Cromwell. It's round 2 of the New Zealand V8 Championships. From here, we go to a support category at the New Zealand Grand Prix at the Manfield Auto Course Circuit. Chris Amon, oh, well, there's a bit of drama here because that's Glenn the Coyote Collinson, and he's got major problems, and that's not only the rear wheel, that's the axle, that's the whole shebang's come out of the DNA Paints Ford. So drama here in the closing stages. You're on board with Collinson as they work into the corner. Oh, yeah, he gets tagged big time by Rudd by the look of it there, and that's a pretty big impact. You saw the camera vibrate, taking the onboard pictures. And poor old Glenn Collinson is mortally wounded here at Cromwell. That's the axle, that's the brakes, that's the wheel, that's everything. And can you believe it? He's going to continue. Well, this man continues on his winning way because he's going to pick up 2 wins this weekend at the Highlands Motorsport Park. He's going to take out race 3 here in the Primo Grove Ford. Matt the Stinger Spratt registers the final win for the New Zealand V8 Utes here in round 2 at Cromwell. In second place, it will be the Super Freight Holden of Paul Manuel. And just deciding the minors, this is the stricken DNA Paints Ford of Glenn Collinson, and he's going to get some points. It's all about a championship. We told you that before, and he crosses the line crippled. So official results tell us that Matt Spratt was too good for them again. He gets the win from Paul Manuel, from Andrew Porter, from Peter Chaos Ward, from Alexander Skippy Whitley, from Jeff Spencer, from Simon the Bandit Usher, from Glenn Coyote Collinson, Brett the Scud Rudd, and Dave Shaggy Lowe.
It's a good feeling, and to come down here first time and get 2 wins in a third, it's very consistent. That's what we're here to do, to be consistent this year. And it's a great fight with Paul, and he must have had his tyre pressures up there because he was real quick at the start, but I just had to hold him out, because then my car came on and got a gap and sort of was able to relax and drive the fast line and come away with the win. Excellent.
There's not many cars in the championship, and if there's anyone out there who's keen on coming on board, then don't be afraid to come and speak to any of the teams, because we're all, hey, on the track you can see there's no love lost, but we're all pretty good off track, and we want to build this class. It's a great class, good cars, and really competitive. You can see we've had different winners all weekend, sort of thing, and yeah.
Paul and Matt, I hung on to them for about 3 laps, and then a couple of spots I just couldn't hang on to them, so I thought, well, we're better to take the points and finish the meeting on the podium. Awesome race.
So if we have a look at the points at the halfway stage of the championship, it's Matt the Stinger Spratt on top from Paul Manuel and Glenn the Coyote Collinson. In 4th place, it's Peter Chaos Ward, and then it's Andrew Highman Porter from Alexander Skippy Whitley. What a round it's been here in Central Otago. The Highlands Motorsport Park has turned it on, but so too has Matt Spratt and the New Zealand V8 Utes. Round 3 of the series sees us travel to Manfield in the New Zealand Grand Prix. We'll see you then. Shell Helix Motor Oils are proud to present the New Zealand V8 Utes Series.